Hi, guys.
American diners are always about a lot more than fast food and filter coffee.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
In small towns especially, they're a focal point for community.
Oh, just... You need more, Jerry?
Yeah, right on down.
But sometimes they're also a flashpoint.
In fact, I ask you, what the hell do you want as a Democrat? And the only thing you could come up with was $15 minimum wage.
I never said 15.
Yes, you did. You sat right in this chair.
Now, Mr.
and you said
Kavanaugh.
15 cents. You said 15.
Dean, do you want more coffee?
I think we're going to be here for a while.
Okay.
I've worked here since I was 14 years old, and it's kind of grown into this.
That's the only goddamn thing you could come up with. Now, you're the same guy who's...
The table up front is the Republican table, and then the table in the back is mostly Democrat with a few Republicans mixed in.
Are you for killing babies?
No, I'm not. But I don't
why
think
are you letting it go?
These caffeine-fueled debates at Darrell's are a time-honoured tradition. And with voters about to hit the polls for the midterm elections, I want to know what's really getting under their skin.
And I'll bet you that there's as many Republican women have abortions, if not more, than Democrats.
Okay. Who can argue that? Who can argue that?
The town of Monticello is in Iowa's 1st congressional district, which backed Barack Obama twice, but swung heavily to Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election. At the moment, the Democrats have a better chance of flipping this district than any other. So if there's a pathway to victory in the midterms, it will lead through towns like this.
For those of you that are Democrats, though, in this district, why do you think there was the huge swing to Trump?
They got suckered in.
We liked what he said, and he spoke about getting manufacturing back in the United States. I was in manufacturing, and I liked to watch him. I liked what he said. I liked the change, but I didn't think it would be that drastic in the way it come about. You know,
You voted for him?
Nobody knows who I voted for. And nobody was going to find out.
But as a Democrat, you can certainly say that there were things that Donald Trump was saying that made sense to you.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
And has that opinion changed in the last couple of years?
Yes. Yes, it has. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Jerry.
Goodbye. See ya. He's doing exactly what he said, and he got elected, but the way he's going about it, treating people like dirt, I don't like the way it's happening.
Midterm elections happen halfway through each presidential term. They're a chance for voters to decide who will represent them in Congress. The Democrats need 23 seats to swing their way to take control of the House of Representatives. And if that happens, they'll have the power to block Trump's agenda. They're pinning their hopes on a bunch of candidates who feel fresh and down to earth.
Women like me aren't supposed to run for office. I wasn't born to a wealthy or powerful family. I was born in a place where your zip code determines your destiny.
These campaign ads are tapping into voter sentiment.
Well, I'm not scared to stand up against other legislators when they say people need to learn to live within their means, but yet they have no concept of what life is like to a single parent that is trying to put food on the table.
Candidates like these offer an antidote to Trump's populism.
They said the State House would be too tough for a young lady.
Then they said that a girl still paying off her student loans wasn't tough enough to beat a millionaire for Congress.
In Iowa's 1st District, a 29-year-old woman called Abby Finkenauer could become the youngest woman to enter Congress.
Well, I say, watch me.
So I head to a local fundraiser, hoping to meet her. The steak fry is a dearly loved Democrat tradition in Iowa. Political groupies get their lunch cooked by local candidates and a few big names from out of town.
It's a chance to come and do retail politics, and this is real right here. Abby's a phenomenal candidate, and she can help determine who's in the majority in the U.S. Congress. It's going to be a big, powerful blue wave that begins right here in this district, throughout Iowa, and it's going to reverberate all across this country.
I'm Abby Finkenauer, and I'm running for Congress because this is personal. And I tell you what, this Iowa that I grew up in, this country that I grew up in, when you ask your neighbor for whether it's a cup of sugar, maybe an umbrella, or help with the kids, they are there. And that, my friends, is why I have so much hope. Because at the end of the day, Iowa is my home, it's our home, and this is our country. And when we do this, we flip these seats, we're gonna take it back. So let's go do this.
I want to talk to Abby, but her campaign staff are extremely protective. They tell me their only concern is local voters, and there'll be no interviews granted to national or international media.
I grew up in a home with dirt floors. Dad drove a truck, and Mom scrubbed floors to earn extra money.
Abby Finkenauer's opponent, Congressman Rod Blum, has been called the most vulnerable Republican incumbent in the House.
With over 30 years of private sector experience, Rod Blum grew his business from 5 employees to over 300. In Congress,
he's keeping a low profile, holding hardly any public campaign events in the lead up to Election Day.
I'm Rod Blum, and I approve this message.
Since neither Abby nor Rod will give an interview to the Australian media, I decide to spend my time with the local voters who'll determine the outcome of this race.
Correct. It's wider up and spin. Tell me what you think about your candidates at this midterm and who you'll be supporting.
Rod Blum, he's my man. Just because he's Republican, but I think he's done a good job. But he's got his hands full with this election.
I guess I like the young enthusiasm with Abby Finkenauer. She really seems to care about the people of Iowa, and I think that'll go a long ways in this election.
In Monticello, I find a father and son, Richard and Brian Walken, whose relationship reflects America's political divide.
I'm a hardcore Republican. I was Republican when Nixon was in. I'm still in it with Trump all the way.
I'd say I was a pretty hardcore Republican through high school, and then stayed hardcore conservative really through college. And it wasn't really until I took a gap year after college and traveled that my views really started to sway towards the blue side of things and the Democratic Party. I guess meeting a friend that was gay and traveling with them for an extended period of time just really opened my eyes. Didn't grow up with knowing anybody that was openly gay. You know, Ireland, New Zealand, they had the socialized health care, and seeing that it worked.
When Brian's not renovating his Victorian home or working on the family farm, he's busy being mayor of Monticello.
All right, this is the Monticello City Council chambers. My seat is up here, front and center.
Brian didn't run as a Democrat or a Republican to become mayor, and he's disillusioned by the partisan political environment under Trump.
He is my president, I respect him, but he's just a loose cannon. He's got the country divided. I just see that as being terrible, because I got into politics at the local level because I want to get things done. I want to work with the other people, whether they're Republicans or Democrat. We all want what's best for Monticello. We're at the Pumpkin Fest here in Amos, Iowa. It's an annual event that celebrates the community. This politics-free zone, events like this in small town Iowa. Everybody's getting along.
$500 to God's London weight, 1,417 pounds.
Do you personally feel, as a young father with a couple of kids growing up in a, bringing them up in a small town in Iowa, like, is it going to make a big difference? Is it?
Yeah, I definitely think reining Trump in is definitely going to be better for my kids moving forward. I just think Trump's way too extreme.
Well, thanks for coming. It was a great success.
Do you think there are people here that have buyer's remorse?
I don't think you're going to have anybody that strongly supported Trump blatantly say that they made a mistake or they're changing their mind. But it's a lot easier to go into the poll, into the ballot box, and tick somebody from the other party and not admit it. So I think the midterms are going to be they're going to be interesting.
Hi, are you registered to vote your co-address? Have you pledged to vote with us before? We're in a really important swing district, so your vote matters a ton here.
It's young people who could hold the key to these midterm elections.
First Ave, Northeast, so any.
18 to 30-year-olds are the biggest voting bloc in the country.
If you don't mind, we just want to know what kinds of issues you care about. We can let you know which candidates stand where on those issues.
If they can be convinced to show up, college students could pose a serious challenge to Trump's presidency.
Have you guys all signed up to get alerts for when voting is actually happening? Hi, my name is Katie Brennan. I'm the Regional Organizing Director for Next Gen America here in Southeast Iowa. So we are the largest youth voter turnout operation in the entire country.
So I guess I'll register to...
Yeah. If you're looking at, say, the 2016 election was basically decided by 70,000 votes across 3 different states. We were in 11 different battleground states. As of today, we've registered over 200,000 young people to vote, which is really cool.
So do you feel you've got it in the bag now?
No. I worked in 2016, so I don't count on anything. We have a Tea Party Republican here in Congress that we can kick out.
Oh, that's disgusting. I don't like it.
Unfortunately, young people vote at half the rate of other age groups. So we know that if we are able to get young people to the polls, we can have a huge impact on the politicians that are elected and the policies that are enacted.
Young people don't tend to be single-issue voters, but these women are angry about Republicans in Iowa passing one of the country's strictest abortion laws.
Yeah, it's going to be super important. This is also, we have an opportunity to elect just barely not going to be the youngest woman ever in Congress by 3 months because of Alexandria Ocasio. We can get representatives that care about college tuition affordability, that care about a woman's right to choose, protecting funding for Planned Parenthood, all of those things. I see that you care about a lot of issues. He definitely does not. I think young people, we all watched 2016 and we're like, what the heck is going on? This isn't a country that I recognize. The only president I've ever known is Barack Obama. So getting young people to realize that we do actually have a power and we do need to be engaged and we do need to be involved is something that's incredibly important. Awesome, thank you so much. Yeah, have a great day. Feel free to take candy too if you want.
As younger voters rally behind the Democrats, many long-standing Republicans are holding firm, even if it comes at a personal cost.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Schmidt. I'm the 4th-generation farmer on this family farm. I guess I'm a true conservative, And I think since I have conservative ideas, I side with the Republican Party. I'm pro-life, and I guess maybe, especially maybe being from the Midwest and a farmer, we have more traditional values. Yeah, these are some of our soybeans. We grow about 230 acres of soybeans.
Farmers here have become collateral damage in Donald Trump's trade war with China. When Washington placed tariffs on Chinese steel, Beijing retaliated with tariffs on agricultural products like pork and soybeans.
From the wet weather we've had, the soybeans have taken on moisture. They're real doughy now and kind of chewy.
As America's second largest exporter of soybeans and largest exporter of pork, it's Iowa that stands to lose the most in this trade war, more than $2 billion US. But that doesn't seem to bother Jeff.
Has the trade war affected your support for President Trump at all?
No.
Not a moment's doubt?
No. Voted for Donald Trump, mainly because I didn't see him as a politician. He's a businessman. I think, really, if you're going to run a country, I think everything kind of comes back to business. I mean, he's an honest man. I really believe that. If you look how quick he is with answers, anyone that's that quick with an answer is telling the truth.
What were you thinking when President Trump started the trade war with China?
I guess when he imposed the tariffs, I wasn't real surprised because I knew he wanted to equalize out the trade imbalance. And naturally, with China, we've got the biggest trade imbalance.
Soybean prices have fallen almost 15%, which means they're now worth less than the cost of production. The government's offering financial aid to farmers to tide them over, but they're praying that in this trade war, it's China that blinks first.
Long term, I think we'll be better off. We just have to be able to weather the storm, as I say.
As the midterms approach, Republican Congressman Rod Blum is squaring off against Abby Finkenauer in a televised debate. I'm curious to see how they're resonating with the audience.
I guess like the Abby slogan really does work for me because this election is very personal. I'm looking at my own situation with my life. I'm a college graduate with student debt, and a thing I tell a lot of people is that I want to be a mother, and Abby supports paid family leave, but one of the most personal things is that I've lost a lot of friends to gun violence. I've had friends murdered, and I cannot have politicians representing me who do nothing about that. And it's sick in our country, and we need to change it.
Thank you so much. I understand. Well, I just want the Republicans to win because therefore less government, less taxes. And then I believe in legal immigration because I'm a legal citizen of this country. I'm tired of the giveaways. Put that on TV, okay? The giveaways.
Please give a warm welcome to Congressman Rod Blum and Representative Abby Finkenauer.
Tonight's debate is a chance for Abby to show whether she's got what it takes to go to Washington.
Is this just a referendum on the first 2 years of President Donald Trump? Representative Finkenauer?
Thanks for bringing that up. I talked to a lot of folks who voted for President Trump. And, he walked around talking about investing in infrastructure, fixing healthcare. The problem is he just hasn't done any of it.
Congressman?
I support President Trump. I disagree with my opponent saying he hasn't done anything. I think in spite of a resistance movement, what he's accomplished has been nothing short of phenomenal. ISIS is on the run. We've reclaimed 70% of the territory in the Middle East. Our economy is booming along at two times the growth rate as former President Obama.
One of the hot topics tonight is the trade war with China. And for Abby, this is personal.
And quite frankly, my sister and brother-in-law are corn and soybean farmers, and I see that they're working their tails off right now, worried about their future every single day because of a trade war that this administration decided to start on Twitter.
Congressman?
The farmers that I speak to, I'd say 95% of them say, yes, the prices are down right now, these are tough times right now, but we are willing to hang in there for the short term to have long-term prosperity.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the opportunity tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a great campaign, and good night, everyone.
Before I leave Iowa, I decide to pay the mayor of Monticello another visit, this time on his family farm.
So we're celebrating my daughter Piper's 2nd birthday. We've had the aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and everybody from our sides of the family come to celebrate.
See right here. This is from great grandma and grandpa Dean and Selena.
What better way to take the pulse of these midterms than a family gathering that includes 4 generations?
Okay, you open it.
Despite the differences between Democrats and Republicans here, a common thread emerges.
Oh, wow.
I think our country definitely has problems, but I think we need to agree to get along and not be Democratic, Republic, Socialist, whatever your feelings are.
Is it a book? Meet Happy Bear.
I've had friends that are Democrats, and I've had them where they wouldn't even call me or talk to me on the phone because they know if I get too opinionated, this certain friend of mine gets very angry. So I just kind of leave my opinions to myself, yeah.
So politics at the moment is sort of dividing families and
Yes.
friends here a bit?
Yeah, I think it does, yeah.
Whenever there's a campaign, I always say pick your poison. Political debates, they're not my thing. I don't like conflict or controversy. But the things that are happening, our world feels like it's in shambles.
It's true.
It is.
What are the things that concern you?
Other than Trump and his way he treats people. You know, I teach 2nd grade, and you're still teaching kids how to be kind to others. And the things that are happening in our world, it doesn't follow those guidelines that you want to instill in your children.
You've lived through a lot of different governments, you've lived through a lot of different presidents. What do you think about President Trump?
I think I would wish he would be more careful with what he says. I wish he would be a little more polite, but I'm a strong Republican. I'm very faithful to my party.
Both sides of politics have their true believers, but here in the Midwest, I found America's middle ground. It was folks in Iowa's 1st District who helped propel a businessman and reality television star into the White House. Now, less than 2 years later, some of them want to change the channel.
You know, that's the great thing about democracy is it's always flipping back and forth. So if, like right now, I felt like we've just shifted way too far to the right. I don't feel like there's a lot of working together, so I think bringing the check back in, you know, checks and balances, we're going to get a little bit of that. I think you'll see the blue wave is going to be real.